Now, I want to address something important right up front because every single year around this time, I see the same concerns flooding the comments, and I know many of you are worried right now. Questions about Social Security, about whether your benefits will arrive on time, about bonuses or special payments for the holiday. So let me give you the clearest, most honest answers I can because you deserve to know exactly what's happening with your money. And I'm going to start with the question I've seen the most this week. Will your Social Security payment be delayed because of Thanksgiving? The answer is no, and I want you to feel confident about that. Whether you receive Social Security retirement, SSI, SSDI, or any benefit administered by Social Security, your payment schedule is not being disrupted by the Thanksgiving holiday. Some of you have already received your November payments, some of you are still waiting based on your regular schedule, and that's exactly how it should be. Thanksgiving falls on Thursday, and remember, Social Security payments typically go out on Wednesdays for most beneficiaries. The system is designed to work around holidays, and this is no exception. Your money is coming. You can plan on that. Now, here's the other question I keep seeing, and I understand why it comes up every year. Will there be a Thanksgiving bonus, an extra payment, some kind of holiday increase to your Social Security check? I want to be completely straight with you on this because I never want to create false hope in our community. The answer is no. There is no Thanksgiving bonus coming from Social Security, and I know that's disappointing to hear, especially for those of you who are struggling right now. And believe me, I see your comments and I understand how tight things are for so many families in our community. Holidays don't trigger automatic increases or bonuses to Social Security benefits. That's just not how the system works, and while we can wish it worked differently, I'd rather give you accurate information than set you up for disappointment. Your benefits won't be reduced either, so at least there's that security. You'll receive exactly what you're scheduled to receive, nothing more, nothing less. Now, I also know some of you have heard things from other sources suggesting otherwise, and that's why I want to make sure we're all on the same page with facts we can rely on. Let's talk about stimulus checks for a moment, because I know this is on everyone's mind. Is there a stimulus payment, a rebate, any kind of direct financial support being distributed for Thanksgiving or the holiday season? As of right now, the answer is no. There is no federally approved stimulus payment in the pipeline specifically for the holidays, and I want to acknowledge how frustrating that is for those of you who are barely making ends meet, who are looking at the holidays coming and wondering how you're going to manage. I see you, and your concerns are completely valid. But here's where this gets really important, and this is what I want to spend some time on because it could actually impact whether we see any future support. Stay with me here, because understanding this could help all of us make sense of what might be coming in the weeks and months ahead. So why is Thanksgiving actually significant when it comes to the possibility of future stimulus payments or additional financial support? It's not about the holiday itself, it's about what Thanksgiving kicks off. And I want to walk through this with you because when you understand the economic picture, you can better understand what might trigger the kind of help we need. Thanksgiving marks the beginning of the holiday shopping season. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Why should we care about shopping when we're talking about benefits and support for people who are struggling? Here's the connection, and it matters more than you might realize. The next several weeks, from Thanksgiving through the end of December, represent the most critical economic period of the entire year. The amount of consumer spending that happens during this window literally determines how economists, policymakers, and lawmakers assess the health of our economy. And here's why that matters to us specifically. When the economy shows serious weakness, when it becomes undeniable that Americans are struggling financially, that's when the pressure builds for government intervention. That's when stimulus conversations start happening in Washington. Now, we've been hearing conflicting reports for months now, haven't we? Some reports say the economy is strong, unemployment is low, everything's fine, but then we see other headlines saying people are maxed out on credit cards, savings are depleted, families are falling behind. So which is it? And how does anyone really know what's happening out there in real American households in our community? This is where the holiday shopping data becomes incredibly revealing. Because here's what's going to happen. Within days after Thanksgiving, after Black Friday, after Cyber Monday, we're going to get hard data. Real numbers showing exactly how much Americans spent during those critical shopping days. And those numbers don't lie. You can't spin them or interpret them away. Either people had money to spend or they didn't. Either they felt confident enough to make purchases or they didn't. And that data is going to tell the real story about how Americans are actually doing financially right now. I want to be honest with you about what we've been seeing in the economic reports over the past several months, because this context matters. Many analysts have pointed out that roughly the top 20% of earners have been essentially carrying the economy. They're the ones still spending, still keeping businesses afloat, still generating the economic activity that makes everything look okay on paper. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% of Americans, and I know many in our community fall into this category, have been struggling significantly. The divide has been growing wider and wider. And I see this reflected in our comment section every single day. People sharing that they're one unexpected expense away from disaster. People explaining that after rent, utilities, and food, there's simply nothing left. People describing how they're making impossible choices between medications and other necessities. This is the reality for so many in our community, and it's real, and it matters. So here's what we're watching for, and why this Thanksgiving shopping period is so significant. If we see a strong holiday shopping season, if those numbers come in showing that Americans spent robustly, that's going to reinforce the narrative that the economy is fine and people don't need additional help. That makes stimulus or additional support less likely in the near term. But if we see weak holiday spending, if those numbers show that Americans really are tapped out, that they don't have the money to spend even during the biggest shopping period of the year when deals are supposedly the best, that changes everything. Weak holiday spending numbers would confirm what many of us already know from lived experience, that people are struggling, that the economy isn't nearly as strong as some reports suggest, and that Americans need help. And historically, when economic data becomes undeniably weak, when it's clear that consumers are pulling back significantly, that's when policymakers start talking seriously about economic stimulus. Because they understand that consumer spending drives our economy, and when that spending drops sharply, intervention becomes necessary to prevent a deeper downturn. I want to be clear about something here. I'm not hoping for a bad economy. None of us should want that. What I'm explaining is simply how the system works, how decisions get made about whether to provide additional financial support to Americans. And understanding this helps us interpret the news we're going to be seeing over the next few weeks. Now, I know I've gone pretty deep into the economic analysis here, and maybe that's more detail than you expected in a video about Thanksgiving and Social Security, but here's why I think it's so important for all of us to understand this. Knowledge is power. When we understand how these decisions get made, when we understand what factors actually influence whether we'll see stimulus or additional support, we're better prepared. We can watch for the right signals. We can advocate more effectively. And we can plan based on realistic expectations rather than rumors or false hope. So what does all this mean for you, for us, for our community going forward? Here's what I'm going to be watching closely, and what I encourage you to pay attention to as well. In the days after Thanksgiving, we're going to start seeing reports about holiday spending. Pay attention to those headlines. Are they talking about record spending, or are they showing that consumers pulled back significantly? That's going to give us our first real indication of where things might be headed. If the spending numbers are weak, watch for the conversation in Washington to shift. Watch for lawmakers to start talking about economic concerns, about helping struggling Americans, about potential stimulus or relief measures. That doesn't mean something will happen immediately, but it means the conversation is moving in that direction. And I'll be here breaking down every development, every proposal, every piece of news that could impact our community. In the meantime, I want to encourage all of you to focus on what you can control. Make sure you're enrolled in every benefit program you're eligible for. Double-check that your Social Security information is up to date. If you're on Medicare, and I cannot stress this enough, now is the time during open enrollment to review your coverage and make sure you're on the best plan for your needs. Don't wait until the enrollment period closes and then regret not taking action when you had the chance. I want to hear from you down in the comments. How are you doing as we head into the holiday season? Are you feeling the financial pressure that so many reports talk about? Have you found resources or strategies that are helping you manage? Share your experience down below, because when we share with each other, we help each other. This community is built on all of us supporting one another, and your voice matters here. And if you found this information helpful, if understanding the economic picture helps you make sense of what we might see in the coming weeks, do me a favor and share this video. Share it with your friends who are on Social Security, your family members who are trying to understand what's happening with stimulus, your neighbors who are part of this community even if they don't know about this channel yet. The more of us who are informed, the stronger we are together. Before I let you go, make sure you check out the other videos on the channel. I've got thousands of videos covering every aspect of Social Security, SSI, SSDI, stimulus updates, benefit programs, and more. There's a playlist I've created with the most important recent updates. You'll find that linked down in the description. And if you have specific questions about your situation, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to address them in upcoming videos. Otherwise, I want to wish all of you a meaningful Thanksgiving. I hope you're able to spend time with people you care about, and I hope despite the financial struggles so many of you are facing, you're able to find moments of gratitude and connection. We're all in this together, and I'm grateful for this community we've built. Until the next video, take care of yourselves and each other. I'll be back soon with more updates as we get them. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.